Well, it's my first morning in Texas. It's a little cold for me, but I'm a little soft, but the cold is good. We're going to a place where we're probably going to see a lot of deer, hopefully some bucks, but it's first day. Mr. Wade said not to pass. He also said we might get a deer to come back here, but they're roaming, chasing. Again, it's cold, but it's been hot, so looking forward to it. A little nervous, a little anxious. First day. We'll see. We gotta get the Viking. It's already getting light, so we're a little bit late. We gotta move.
Steve Nessl from Yamaha is at the ranch this week, and he's been given the opportunity to fill his deer tag in the heart of the rutting season.
I love the rut and I hate the rut at the same time. I love the rut because it's unknown. The unpredictability of the rut for me is probably the coolest thing about it. And so if you make a game plan, you almost have to accept going out that game plan might not mean a thing. And okay, if you come down here to hunt the rut, you gotta love it and hate it at the same time. You gotta take what you get for what it is, which is the breeding time for these deer. And they have an agenda. Both the males and the females have a job to do, really. And you're just hidden watching that happen. And if a big one walks in front of you, good for you. And if he's off on the other side of the ranch because he chased a hot doe all the way over there, bad for you, but you don't really have a say. So you're just at the whim of nature out here during the rut. I love that about it. And for me, I know better than I just hope to see a bunch of cool deer, a bunch of good, mature, trophy quality deer. And at the bottom line of it all for me is just be out here, period.
He's wide. Oh wow, he's getting bigger as he gets closer. As I thought he was. You want him walking up? That's pretty cool. It's not that wide, it's barely outside his ears still, which is perspective. It's a bit of a wimp. About ready to get out of here. We had a pretty good morning. Didn't see any for sure shooters. There's a good deer in here that's probably, I think he's about 4.5, but he's really cool. But let him live a little while longer, especially since it's just the first day for me. And I don't know if I have permission to take him anyway, but he's a good looking deer. But far and away the only deer we saw that was borderline shooter. Now it's time to go back to camp and make a plan for the afternoon. It's supposed to warm up, so who knows what's going to happen.
Steve Nessl is hunting during the rut here in South Texas, and Wade's sending him to a new set of tripods that no one has hunted before.
I'm going to a place they'd set up and no one had ever sat there before. And we're gonna overlook this huge expanse of land and see deer for, literally maybe, half mile away.
Now, as Steve is heading out to the stand in his Yamaha Viking, notice he's wearing the proper safety gear: helmet, eye protection, and clothing that covers both his arms and legs to ensure he arrives at the stand safely. For more Yamaha safety tips, visit YamahaMotorsports.com.
We're in the stand this afternoon. Pretty excited about it because we don't know anything about it. It's a new stand. First time anybody's sat here and we can see for days. We actually bumped what looked to be a shooter deer just coming up the road to get in here. So we're looking out over a big, that's a little bit of a cut in a ditch, but a huge, just wide expanse of land. We can almost see to the next town. We have no idea what's out here except for the big deer we saw jumping in here. So we may see only him tonight, or we may see him again. Plus, we don't know. But it's pretty warm. They're rut, they're chasing. Yeah, I mean, it's wide open, so we're hopeful. It's always fun when you go in not knowing what to expect. Last time I did that, I didn't see a single deer, so let's hope it's different this time around.
So the strategy for this next location that we basically built that Steve's going to go into is we've hauled these two very large tripods up. We've wrapped them with the material, and then we've anchored them down. And you would look at these tripods from afar and go, oh my God, how can you even think there's a possible way that a deer's not going to see you? Well, we leave these tripods up 12 months out of the year. They get so used to it being right there. And the only thing new is a little bit of your head popping up out there. And in those types of situations, these tripods will allow you to literally see miles.
That's a badger. That's awesome. He's right there.
We saw some really good deer way off in the distance, and the rut kind of put a damper on our hunt that evening because the big ones were chasing does way far out. We saw a bunch of, good, gonna be better when they're older bucks come in. And, being out when it's cool and starting to get cooler and just seeing game, it's never an evening wasted. So no big bucks on the first day, but high hopes going into the second.
Well, day 2 of Steve Nessl's hunt. He's set up on the ground on what we call the sheep bluff.
Get out the second morning and it's a lot warmer than we'd hoped, to be honest with you. Cloud cover, good conditions, deer-wise, except for maybe the temperature, because we had cloud cover, very little moon, so hopes to have a cool morning, have the deer up and moving, but it was was mid-50s. It was pretty warm, and we're in December, so it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. But we're not going to skip a morning, so we went out and sat on a sheep bluff on the property, and it's a gorgeous spot. And this hunt we're going to sit on the ground. So far I've been in a box, I sat in a tripod, now I'm on the ground. I'm kind of covering my bases on types of setups, and I love the ground. I love being, you know, in a chair, not in the open. I mean, you're in the open, but you're kind of backdropping, you're trying to work it to your advantage so you can't be seen. And we're overlooking this little area, which is just gorgeous. And our shots are going to be anywhere from 60 to 140. And even before light comes, before the camera can even think about having light, we've got what looks to be a horse walking through the setup. It's ridiculous, this huge bodied deer.
These dudes are pretty good. Holy cow. He's old.
It's blatant that he is huge. I mean, and he's got a rack on him. We can see he's got horns and pretty good ones, but he doesn't come out as far as a deer that has horns that is as big as him. And we can't see, you know, to be sure how old he might be, but he's a monster. His body's ridiculous. And he's rutted up, and we can tell that, but there are other deer in the field, and we can see that he's dwarfing these other deer that are around him.
We've been staring at this really ridiculously weird looking ape for about 45 minutes to an hour. I've been trying to talk myself out of not shooting him because he's really cool looking and he's old. He may have just saved himself by running off with a doe as he comes back. I don't think I'm going to be able to resist, so there's another big buck trolling the area. We've got pictures of a different, also old deer, but this one kind of took us by surprise. He took off out the back of this little sit area, but if that doe brings him back in, I don't think I'm going to be able to resist. It's been a good morning. Go away. Hey, you just need to leave. That deer over there didn't hear. You got too many hands clucking at you. Yeah. That boy might live to see another day.
I'd caught the attention of a doe, and she, for some reason, decided to investigate. Came around to our left, came up to the base of the hill that we were set up on, looked up, saw me, stomped, blew. Chased every deer but one out of that field. You know, it was done. We're kind of weighing our options when something out of the corner of my eye, and this is about 10 minutes later, I look down and there's our buck underneath a tree, scraping, licking a branch, and he's back.
Another hot roller coasters. Oh my goodness. We're on the ground this morning. I love hunting the ground. We just shot a deer we didn't know would be here. We're actually looking for another old, probably bigger deer, but this one's such a trophy. He's old, he's funky as all get out. Fell in love with him over the course of an hour, hour and a half this morning. Thought a doe took him out of our lives. Got busted by a doe who blew him, took everybody else, and for some reason, I think he's meant to be mine, because he came back in. He was one of only 2 deer left in this setup this morning. Right there. Oh.
The one I took today he wasn't anywhere near the list of big uns, and I don't care. I absolutely don't care. I spent an hour or 2 hours looking at him, falling in love with him, and he checked all the boxes. A mature buck, big hoss of a body, you know, who knows how old he is. He was the ruler of that particular roost, and during the rut, he was making stuff happen, and to take him makes him a huge trophy in my book. So as far as successful hunts go, this one, you can check that box too.
He's not getting smaller, that's for damn sure. We thought that might be the case with you. What a cool deer! Oh, look at this. I started calling him Stubby just because he doesn't go forward. But oh, look at this cool stuff through here. He's bladed on both his twos. Look how old this guy is. Man, I don't even see any top teeth. This dude is a hoss. Big, big body. Cool old dark horns. And he just stops and comes out. It's like got knives. Every bit the stud and trophy I'd hoped he'd be while we watched him all flipping morning. What a great set.
Congratulations, Steve, on your late winter buck into the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries as you take him back to camp in your Yamaha Viking.
So we use the Viking 3-seat side-by-side pretty exclusively on this hunt. I mean, we had it the whole time, every set we'd take it out, and you know, because the great thing about how Wade's using these vehicles over there is he uses them all the time. So the animals are used to them, and that's really what you need to do. It offers a ton of flexibility to your hunt as well. And it's the beauty of why they perform well in Texas. It's the beauty of why they perform well across the country and around the world.
Find your next hunting vehicle at YamahaMotorsports.com.